Hello, Francisca. Good evening. So I'm just waiting for more people to join while I'm jamming to some music. Um, Join me. I don't know if you can hear the song, but yeah. So I'll just give you like 5 to 8 minutes, then we can start the class. I really don't want to take too much time today. Hi, Ima. Hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. Glad to have you. Yeah, I'm just jamming to some Lawrence Oil. Yep, 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 yep. I see, I hear, I know, I know, I see, I hear, I know, I do, I see, I hear, I know, I do, I see, I hear, I know, I do. So today I'm going to be um doing some sort of like a refresher. I don't want to I want to maintain the 30 minutes. I tried really hard last week, but it ended up being like 40 something minutes. But I want to try and maintain 30 minutes this week. So there's a whole video, right? A whole detailed video that really goes through like this particular PDF. I'm just going to brush through it today. Um, but it's going to help to, I guess, give more life to the talk of today. So, if you were in Saturday's live class, we talked about hair growth 101. I'm just trying to talk and catch up before people join or not people join. Just give it some time before the class starts. So, guys, how was your day? Oh, today was really rainy. Like, we just woke up and saw rain, like heavy rain. It was crazy, but it was a nice day for me. So I hope you guys had a good day. I hope the rain didn't interrupt your activities. I'm going to have to pause the music so that you guys can hear me properly. I hope you guys can hear me. So yeah. Um I think we'll just do 1 more minute because it's 6 minutes now. So we'll do 1 more minute and then we'll start the class. So yeah, so as I was saying, hair typing, there's a whole 1 hour video on this, right? Where I really did this justice. But I want to reference it in today's class. So that's why I have this tab open. You guys are going to see the main one that we're doing today is actually this. I hope you guys can see that now. So we're supposed to be wrapping up hair growth. We started the class last week, Saturday, where we talked about what hair growth is, the phases of hair growth, the parts of the hair or the scalp and hair that are responsible for growth, and then basically just debunking the myth about people having good hair. If you haven't watched that class, go back. It's on my page. You can also access the class from the link that I dropped in the group. So try and catch up because everything is essential. Like I said, I really wanted to, with these classes, I really wanted to take time to break down everything so that, um, you know, oh, nice, nice. So it wasn't raining. Francisca, I can see you said it was a cool Tuesday for you. So I guess no rain. Rain didn't stop your plans. Anyways, as I was saying, this class, the goal of this class is to really break things down as simple as possible so that nobody will bamboozle you, right? So that you understand what it really takes for you to take care of your hair and you can actually really start seeing progress. You're an informed consumer, right? And you know how to be intuitive with your hair when your hair is telling you what it needs and so on and so forth. Like that's the goal. So I'm really trying to break everything down alongside the prevalent ideas that they are about hair. Okay, so our 1 minute is up. So we're going to start the class now. So as I was saying, today's class is a continuation of the last class that we had where we were talking about hair growth, what it is, what it's not, what's the truth about the popular ideologies that we have around hair growth. Yeah, so you can check up last live class to catch up on that, right? Because I'm not going to be going back, right? So today we're going to be going into the part that we haven't really talked about is a slice of the good hair genes and steps to get good hair, right? So how I had initially done the progression, right? I kind of bit into the third part last week, right? But by the end of last week, I was basically saying something that with everything that I had presented in the class, I was trying to let everybody know that no matter how bad you think your hair is, no matter how unlucky you think you are when it comes to the hair genes and whatnot, if you're not dealing with any prevalent health issue, your hair can grow and your hair can grow long and healthy. It's just a matter of actually understanding your hair and stop comparing yourself to the people that you see on social media or even the people that you see in your lives because a lot of times I see so many people say stuff like, I have a sister that has really long hair and all she does is use detergent to wash her hair and she doesn't even use any cream and her hair is really long. I really don't know what motivates people to say things like that because the chances of that being true is very slim. But even if that was the truth, as verbatim, right? You shouldn't be comparing yourself. So just because somebody does that doesn't mean that you can do it and get away with it. And just because somebody does that doesn't mean that you will not do it and seriously harm yourself because why should you be using detergents to wash your hair? So there are people that live on the extreme side of life, but doesn't mean that you should go to that extreme. There are people that have been smoking and drinking for years and they have no health effects to that, does that mean you should go and start smoking and drinking when you know that the chances of you actually being sick is very high? So same thing applies here, right? The popular opinion or the popular ideologies surrounding hair does not have to be what you choose for yourself, right? The idea of breaking down everything like I did last week and talking about all the things responsible for growth and how it's possible for you to grow your hair was basically just to debunk the myth and tell you that it is possible. Your hair can grow long. Science is for you, not against you. What you need to do is to learn your hair, what obtains for your hair, and then start practicing it, which kind of ties into what I'm going to be talking about today. So, sort of, I'm joining the end of last week's class and a new topic today, right? Which is hair routine. And so, the end of last week's class, uh, one of the topics, like I said, is a slice of the good hair genes. And basically, that was just me trying to say that if it's possible to actually have healthy hair, once we stop comparing and once we introspect and understand our hair, if it's possible to actually grow our hair long, what obtains, what do we need to actually see that hair growth? And for me, one of the most important things that I have found, and I feel ultimately most people that are able to grow their hair long and healthy have found, is understanding your hair type, right? So, hair, I would say, is very much like skin, right? So, you know how different people have different skins. So, even siblings in the same house may use the same bar soap and have different reactions to it, right? And then just because we are taught to take care of our skin as we grow up, it's a basic part of our daily routine, right? If somebody comes to meet you and they tell you, I don't shower for days on end, you would close your nose. In fact, you will run. So if somebody comes to meet you and tells you and you ask them, oh, so what's your body care routine? And the person says, oh, I don't have a body care routine. Oh, I just anything, I just go to the bathroom, anything that happens there. In fact, the person doesn't even need to answer you. The aroma from the person's body will answer that question for you. So, if it's such taboo for people not to have body care routines or not to know what works for their body, how to take care of their body, I don't know why it's not as much taboo for people to just go months on end without washing their hair, not understand their hair, not know what their hair type is, and then they expect one magical product to just suddenly grow their hair. You can't, a good product cannot, um you can't out train a good uh, routine, right? You need a good routine and a good product for you to actually see results, right? So, like I said, I don't want to overflog this hair typing system because, like, I have a whole 1 hour video on this. It's also on my page. You can check it out. Grow your fussy hair with ease, or grow your fussy hair easily. So I'm just going to quickly run through it, right? The complete hair typing system is not this. It's not this, you know. Every time I hear people talk about hair and their hair type, right? Everybody just goes to, oh, my hair is fussy. I have the worst hair known to humanity. Oh my goodness. I'm so sad. Or, like everybody has made fussy hair this dungeon, the lion's den. And it kind of baffles me because the majority of black people, the majority of people with afro-textured hair actually have fussy hair. So it's insane to me that the hair that is predominant in our race is the hair that people think is sorrows prayers. So this right? What you can see on the screen right now, this is not your hair type, right? This is not your, I just need to really drive it home. 1A, 2B, this tells you nothing. Tells you nothing about what your hair is, right? This is the complete hair typing system, right? This is the complete hair typing system because it talks about your hair's porosity, your hair's thickness, your hair's density, your hair's sebum production, and your shrinkage rate. Once you're armed with all these details, you know exactly where your hair falls under, and you know how to manage or create a routine that works just for your hair, right? So let's just quickly breeze through, right? Your porosity is how easily your hair can absorb water. And it's not a point, it's a range, right? So it can range from high to low, such that your hair uh, takes in water very quickly, and you know also lets out the water very quickly, or it doesn't let water in, and then when it lets it in, it doesn't let it out very quickly. So I think a good example to explain porosity would be if you take a cotton cloth, and if you take all these track suits that people wear for working out, right? And you put it into water, the cotton material is going to absorb water, but the tracksuit is going to take some time before it becomes wet. That is literally it. So porosity is just how quickly your hair absorbs water, right? And then the next one is your hair thickness, right? And this is how thick the strand of your hair is. So if you can see the picture, there's fine, medium, and coarse. So people with thicker hair, their hair strands are just thicker. So obviously, if something is thicker, it means that it can withstand more tension, and more fidgeting with it and all that, right? But if it's fine, it means it can break easily, and there are not so many things that you can do with it. So let me give a good example for you to be able to understand. So someone with fine hair now, imagine your hair is like as fine as cobwebs. You see how easy it is for you to take your hand through cobwebs and you break it apart, right? I don't think there's anybody's hair that's as fine as that, but just use that as some sort of measurement tool to know, you know, what, or to understand how people's that their hair is fine, how their hair can be, right? And then imagine someone with coarse hair to be someone whose hair is as thick as a thread, like a sewing thread, you get. So you know how when you're trying to cut a sewing thread, right? It's you have to really tug on it. You can't just put your hand across it and then have it break, right? So just imagine that when you're thinking about hair thickness, right? So people with fine hair, their hair is light, their hair strand, individual hair strand is light and is easy to break. And then as the hair gets progressively thicker, it's stronger, harder to absorb moisture, harder to manage, harder to style, and things like that. So both sides have pros and cons, right? Now, the next one is hair density. This is what we're talking about when we say, oh, this person's hair is full, or this person has full hair. Hair density is how many strands per square meter on your head, how many strands in your hair, how many hair follicles you have. I kind of talked about this in our last class, but that's basically hair density. So you can either have high density, medium density, or low density. So obviously, these pictures actually really just tell you what it is, right? And as I'm explaining this now and I'm going through the complete hair typing system, you can start to kind of see where you fall. You can start to think about whether your hair absorbs moisture, whether your strands are fine or they're thick, or whether you have high density or low density. You can basically start to see where you fall with this, right? And then the next is sebum production, and like the other ones, it's also a range. So it can be low, medium, and high. So if you have high sebum production, you have like pretty oily scalp. If you have medium sebum production, your scalp isn't so oily. It's kind of like dry to oily skin, right? That's how sebum production is. So like I said, I just want to run through this. And then the next one is your shrinkage rate. So your shrinkage rate, right, is is so important. And I'll explain why it's important. Because a lot of people come to me and they genuinely think that their hair shrinking is a problem. No, it's not. Depending on your curl pattern and you know just how your hair stretches, how much stretch your hair has, right? Everybody has different shrinkage rates. Now, if you look at this picture, right, you can see the person with the 40% shrinkage rate. You can see that she has her hair twisted and she has some of the hair stretched out, and it's almost the same length, right? And then you can see the person just beside her, the person with the 70% shrinkage rate, right? You can see how short her hair looks. Just it looks above her shoulder, but it's way down her waist, right? So she has tight curls and she has a very high amount of shrinkage. It's not a blessing or a curse, or it's just what it is, right? You have to understand it and know how to work with it. It's as simple as that. So that's the range for, you can see the 30% shrinkage, 60% shrinkage, 20% shrinkage. So shrinkage is how your hair gets when it's not being manipulated or anything. When you just, you know, apply water to it, you let it dry and let it shrink to the highest possible point, that's shrinkage. So for you to know your shrinkage rate, when your hair is fully shrunken, you pull it out, right? And you see how much length you lose, right? So the higher length you lose, that means you have a higher shrinkage rate. So now the next one is your curl pattern, right? And typically people have either an S curl pattern, an I curl pattern, an O curl pattern, or L curl pattern. Now, the O and L curl pattern is very predominant amongst people that would say I have 4C hair. So they have like tight O and L curls, right? So this just tells you how what the shape of your curls are, right? And then s- um typically if you have certain types of curls, they are more prone to certain types of knots and tangles, right? So this is what your curl pattern tells you. And then the next one is okay, yeah, so this, in my opinion, right, this is like the secrets to long hair. So you remember we started this class by talking about a slice of the good hair genes, right? So if you want to see your hair grow, if you actually want to see your hair grow, right? This is the formula you need. You need a customized hair routine. You need to be patient and consistent with a good customized hair routine, and then you need products. So now, right, I put numbers to make this very practical. You see, genes is 10% because yes, genes does influence your density and the texture of your hair, shrink rate, and all those things, right? But if you're not working with your genes, then it's going to work against you. Now, if someone has a customized hair routine and good hair products, right, that's automatically 60 over 100. So the chances of them seeing progress with their hair is so much better. If someone has a customized hair routine and they're patient and consistent, even if the products are not so great, they might not see progress as fast as someone with good products, but they will see progress, right? So that's also another 60% combination. Guess what? You have great genes and you're patient and consistent. That's 40%. We all know 40% of 100 is fail. So keep this formula, this combination, keep it in your head. It's very important because you know that's literally what you need, right? So now let's go back to the slides for today because I have talked about, hair typing, right? I have talked about hair typing and why it's important to know your hair type. And I would explain in the following slides why that is important, right? Okay. So, if knowing your hair type um, is something that takes you closer to having good hair, having a slice of the good hair genes, right? We need to know our hair type and then build a good routine to actually see great results. And then if we want to see fantastic results, we add good products on that and it's like we get an A plus plus, right? So that means we need to know what a hair routine is. What makes a hair routine and what makes a good hair routine and then what makes a customized hair routine for your own hair type, right? Okay. So let's talk about hair routine today. Oh my god, I made a spelling error. Please guys, this is routine. Um oh, okay. I hope you guys can see this tab now. All right. Yeah, sorry, there's a spelling error there. My bad. I was, I guess, in a hurry making the slides. So, yeah. Now, a hair routine is a set of repeatable practices such as shampooing, conditioning, and massaging done to the hair to aid hair growth, softness, and length retention. So, one of the things I find that is the most common thing with people that complain that their hair is not growing is that they don't have a hair routine. So, your hair routine is that thing that you do, whether it's once a month, in 2 months, once in 3 months. But anytime you go to the salon, whatever it is you do in the salon and come out of the salon, and whatever you do to your hair in between your salon visits, your day to day life, whatever it is you do to your hair during those periods, that is your hair routine. So, whatever it is, right? What I like to do when it comes to this is compare it to the things that you do to your skin. If you wash your hair once in 3 months, compare it to the things that like how would your skin be like if you wash it once in 3 months? How would your body be like if you wear one cloth and you don't change it for 3 months? Yeah. So that should give you an idea of how good or bad your hair routine is. So I grouped all the several things that people do to their hair into three major categories, right? And we're going to be talking about them. So, parts of your hair routine, there's cleansing, there's conditioning, and there's styling. So, let's get into it, right? So, cleansing is the process of ridding your hair of impurities through methods such as shampooing, co-washing, and clay treatment. I'm just going to briefly explain what these things are. So shampooing is what most people know, right? When you use a shampoo to wash your hair, it lathers and it makes your hair clean, rids it of excess oil and things like that. But shampooing is not the only way to cleanse your hair, right? There's also another method called co-washing, which is short for conditioner washing, where people actually use um shampoos or co-washers that have less soapy material, in layman's term, less soapy material to wash their hair, so that it doesn't strip their hair of so much of its oils, right? And then next one is clay treatment. So clay treatments are like a deep cleanse because they take out the things that shampoo can't get to. So clays are very good adsorbers. So they bind to metallic ions and they take them off. When you rinse it off, they take it off your hair. So clay treatments help to clarify your hair, take out product build up, detoxify your hair, and just basically opens your hair and your pores up to really accept and taking the treatment that you're doing for your hair. Okay. So those are cleansing methods. There are other methods. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ambunu, right? So Ambunu is actually a cleansing method that is traditional to the Chadian women. So there is one of the classes that I'm going to be taking where I'm going to be talking about herbs and just basically like how to use herbs for hair and everything. So I don't want to go too much into it, but that is an example of a cleansing practice that isn't necessarily rooted in using shampoos. I am really going into this for you, for your mind to be open on what cleansing is, and for you not to feel like cleansing is equals to shampoo. Cleansing can be other things than shampoo. Okay? So now, what about conditioning? Hair conditioning is the process of applying products to the hair that help to soften, smoothing, and improve the manageability of the hair. So now, right, what are the things that will fall under conditioning? We have our deep conditioning treatments, we have our hair masks, we have our leave-in conditioning treatments, we have our hair oils, we have our hair butters. So anything that you apply to the hair to soften, to smoothing, to improve the manageability of the hair is a conditioner, right? So now, typically, the products that have conditioners in them, that is the deep conditioner, the leave-in conditioner, and so on and so forth, right? They are called that because, as a standard, this is from a formulator's standpoint, they contain cationic ingredients that help to bind to the hair structure because the hair is negatively charged. So they contain cationic ingredients that bind to the hair's negative charges. They neutralize it, and in that process of neutralizing it, they cause the hair to be softer. I hope I'm not being too technical. So that's what, so the general class of conditioners, leave-ins, whatever conditioner, that's basically what they do, right? But you see, we have our oils, our butters, and every other hair treatment in between that falls under conditioning, right? And they work in different ways, but ultimately, if it's helping to soften, to smoothing, and to improve the manageability of your hair, then it's a conditioner. I hope that makes sense. Are you guys following me? I guess I'm really in the zone today because I'm just blabbing on and on and on. I hope you guys are following. And if you have any questions, I would definitely take your questions at the end of the class. So, yeah, next one is styling, right? And I put it like this because I really wanted to emphasize on something. So styling is the act of arranging the hair into a particular look or style, right? And in Nigeria, where I grew up, right, there's something so common that if you have your hair like maybe how my hair is right now, or you've not gone to the salon, you've not gotten braids, you've not gotten wigs, you've not gotten extensions, people ask you, when are you going to do your hair? What are you going to do with your hair? Aren't you going to style your hair? But you packing your hair can be a hairstyle because styling is arranging your hair into a particular look. Simple. That's what it is. So hairstyling in Nigeria has now unanimously become, oh, you adding extensions to your hair, you adding wigs to your hair, you doing frontal closure, braids, all Ghana weaving, Senegalese, half wig, clipping, ponytail. But those are actually, that's not what constitutes a style, right? Why styling is so important, especially for us with afro-textured hair, is because the way our hair is structured, right? Because of all the twists and bends. Let me go to this, let me share this tab and show you guys what gives like a practical example, right? So just give me a minute, let me zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see my arrow. Um I really can't, there's no way of me telling if you guys can see my arrow, right? But now if you can see this Okay, for example, this 3A line, right? You can see every part of the 3A line that is curled, every bend, every twist is a weak point. It's a point for potential breakage, right? It's a point for potential breakage. So, styling is important because while, people with Caucasian hair, people with Asian hair, typically people with straight hair, right? While they can laddie daddy brush their hair, blow dry their hair, and go on with their lives, and that is a hairstyle. We can't do that. We have to protect our hair. If we don't protect our hair, it will break. So, in the olden days, right, there were styles that people did, styles like threading, styles like, braids, just braids with your hair and things like that. There were styles that people did that helped them to protect the hair. And that is where the word protective styling actually comes from. It's supposed to be a hairstyle that you put your hair into that protects it from breaking, right? So you guys remembered how I talked about when your hair is fine and when your hair is coarse, right? Because of the structure of our hair, African people tend to have finer hair than Asians and Americans, right? So we have to, the way we approach hair care and hairstyling has to be different from these people because their hair doesn't experience the kind of breakage and it's not as sensitive as our hair, right? Does this mean that we're cursed or something, or we just got the bad end of the stick? No. It just means that we're different, right? It's just the way people have white skin, people have brown skin, people have yellow skin, people have black skin. The person is just different. It doesn't mean that one person is better than the other because of their skin color, right? So now let's picture a broom, not the modern day brooms, those wooden brooms that are gotten from palm fronds. If you take one broomstick, right, very easy to break. Poof, you can break the broomstick, right? I wish I didn't think about this, but I wish I actually had a broom to actually do that. And you can easily break one broomstick, two broomsticks, poof, you can break two broomsticks. Try to break it. Just try.